because this changed my life, and I did not speak for a while after this experience. Hey guys, welcome to another Paint with me, where I share with you stories about some of the stupid things that I've done and lessons I learned from them. So today I'm sharing with you a time that I actually got stuck on a mountain in Arizona and I got enlightened. But that was not exactly the kind of enlightenment you're thinking about, okay? Because I did not think I was going to survive. But not only did I survive, got enlightened. And okay, by the way, which if you Google the definition of enlightenment, it means you become aware of one with everything, and it's kind of what happened, just in a slightly different way. It broke my brain after. So anyways, I worked on this again a little bit off camera, and I was gonna work more on it off camera, but I said I really want to record because I like to keep the process of the creation of the painting authentic to the painting, you know, because I could just finish the whole painting, but I kind of want to express the process of it. So basically what happened with this story was I was staying in Arizona, and at one point I went hiking on Bell Rock, which just basically means it's one of the vortexes in Arizona. And I went hiking up there. I was by myself. I did not know anybody in the state, staying at hotels back then. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago. It was before all the other crazy stories that I'm sharing with you guys in my videos. So I went hiking on a Bell Rock, and I went up super high to where I don't think it was a trail, and I did not know how to get back down, because not only did I climb high up, I was trying to get back down in a different way, and there was no one there. It was not exactly a trail. I went off the trails. Again, I've done some reckless things, so please don't take my advice. Only learn from what I'm going to share with you, because this changed my life, and I did not speak for a while after this experience. So basically I got on top of the Bell Rock and I said, okay, time to come down. And I think it was kind of cold at that time, and I had a backpack with me, and I didn't know anybody, so of course I can't like call out to people or whatever. And so I'm trying to get back down, and I'm already climbing back down to where I cannot go back up. But to climb back down, it was like a 90-degree steep hill. It was like this, and it was tall. And I said, okay, I'm gonna like slide on my butt and put my body between the cracks. And so I threw my backpack down, and by that time it was too late to bail because my backpack was already down. And I literally put my body between the cracks of the rocks. I did not think I was going to survive, you guys. I was like, this is it, I am going to die, because it was very steep, it was very tall. I literally didn't think I was going to survive. So anyways, I slid down, put my body between the cracks of the rocks, and slid down on my butt, but somehow I lived. And as I was walking down, that's when the enlightenment, quote unquote, happened, because as I was walking down, basically to give you some context, at that time I was actually part of these like spiritual communities, and a lot of the times I shared advice. I shared things with people that I genuinely felt like it can help them. And so I shared advice. But as I was walking back to my hotel, having just survived, thinking I was not going to make it, what happened was that every single advice I gave to someone, it shot back to me that they're not the ones that needed advice. I was. I didn't need to tell someone you should go balance your root chakra because you're living in fear. I needed to do that for myself. And so as I was walking, one by one, every single thing, and by the way, this is going to get a little bit crazy later because it affected me for a while. I literally didn't speak for a while after this. So as that started to happen, one by one, every single advice I ever gave someone shot back to me, that every time I said you, I was saying I. It's like, imagine you're looking and you see someone's shirt is wrinkled, and you tell them, fix your shirt is wrinkled. And every time you've said that, it turns out you were looking into a mirror, and no one else needed to fix themselves, they fixed their shirt. You were looking at your own shirt and projecting it onto everyone else. So that happened, and it was so painful to me. I went to my hotel, I put my hands on my head, and I was trying to process this. I was like, what the F? And at that time, I actually started to make YouTube videos as well at that time, my first channel ever. And I was just basically channeling whatever came through. And yeah, I was like this for a while. And ever since that day, every time I started speaking and my mouth said you, my brain registered as if I'm saying I. So I didn't understand how to speak to people, because every time I would say you, my brain was like I. Imagine I'm saying you have to, like, or you are this way, my brain would say like I am this way. And so I couldn't see the difference between you and I. And at that time I actually was, I went basically back to Connecticut. I didn't technically live anywhere. I was living from suitcases, but I was dancing at the club in Connecticut. And so I went back to Connecticut, back to my job, and I did not know how to speak. Like, someone could literally talk to me and I would just blink and stare at them, because if they did not speak from their heart, if their communication was not like from their heart, deadass kid you not, I didn't understand it. I would just blink and be like, I don't know what you said. I don't know how to respond to this. And I had 3 of my coworkers come up to me and they were like, say something. We've never heard you speak. And I was like, I talk sometimes. But yeah, so I legitimately forgot how to speak language. And it was such an awkward time, because I became friends with one of my clients and he kind of drove me around, and he would talk and I would just listen and I would be dumbfounded. Like, I don't know how to respond to you when you're complaining. The only time I knew how to respond is when someone spoke with love from their heart. I understood it. If it was ego, if it was brain, I was like, it didn't register. I was like, how do I speak to respond? And so basically what I started to do, how I got out of it, is actually did a couple of things. It was 2 totally different things, because I had to relearn language. And I had to also reteach myself how to use the word you. So there were a couple of things, which, by the way, I feel like maybe part of the reason why I forgot how to language is because at that time, I was taking Vyvanse, I was taking Adderall, I was drinking alcohol. I mean, a bottle of one a day. 4 or 5 years ago, I don't drink anymore at all. Like, I don't drink any more alcohol. I've quit all my Vyvanses long time ago also. I would take all that, plus coffee, plus I was not eating properly, plus I was taking CBD. And sometimes all at once. Like, my brain health was not good. So it could be that as well, I don't know. But so basically, yeah, I had to reteach myself how to speak, and I did a couple things. So first, when I first started to use the word you, I would say you as in, not you as an individual, but you generally. Like, when in English language, you have the word you, which encompasses the generality, the general essence of humanity and expression. So when you go and walk, I'm not saying you as in you, but I'm saying like in general. So I started to use it that way, and I kind of like slowly weaned my way in. That was one thing I did, and eventually I kind of forgot. But so that really kind of stopped me from creating any kind of self-development content for a while, because I couldn't say you without my brain registering it as me. And so that was one thing I did. The other thing I did is I actually ended up blogging every single day, because I don't know how I lost grammar. Like, I was a grammar Nazi in college, in high school. I was always the grammar Nazi. I was always like, oh, I would catch everyone's mistakes. Like, the comma is missing, I was on it. Like, my brain was like wired for it. And then what happened was I lost my grammar. And if you even saw like some of the stuff when I started to write, there was no punctuation. It was a run-on sentence for a full page. No punctuation, no grammar, no sentence structure. And I had to reteach myself how to sentence structure, how to language. So all I did was I was reading a lot at that time as well. I always loved reading, but I just was blogging every single day. And I taught myself how to language by blogging, And I still have all of those blogs, and I'm not fully sure what to do with them, because there's some weird stories in it, which, by the way, I shared. I think I share some of it. Like, the stuff that I share with you now, this quote-unquote wisdom, is just a lot of the stuff that I learned or channeled or kind of just came to conclusion with different things in life. So I was blogging every day, sometimes without having a single clue what I'm going to write about, and I taught myself language. And so the reason I want to share this is because honestly, I just felt called to share it. But the main story of the point of this is that we're all connected and we're all one. And the world is literally like a mirror. And I don't know if you subscribe to this concept, but it was enlightened to me so much, because again, enlightenment means you become aware of the fact that you're one. And they say like, oh, you become blissed out. Listen, there's nothing blissed out about how I felt. I mean, that's not fully true. I was pretty blissed out. I was like in heaven, but like crazy heaven, okay? Like I was in heaven for no reason. Literally, like I would wake up, I see trees, I see birds, I was in fucking heaven. But that's another tangent. So enlightenment literally means to become aware of the fact that we're all one. And that's what that means. It means like every single person that you see is a reflection of you. What you see in them, you have in yourself. And of course, sometimes we have differences, like we're not all the same thing, even though we technically are all the same thing. We're just expressing in different ways. And this might be a little bit more spiritual, but it actually becomes very practical if you understand how to use it. Because how often do we go in life and like with your family, with your friends, with your partner, with everything. By the way, I'm just holding my hand because I'm holding it like this, because it's not like you're gonna sit here and watch my like hair all the time as I'm painting. Like how weird is that? Okay, so I'm just receiving the energy. How often with your family, with your friends, with your partner, you look at them and you say, you did this, and we point fingers. And I saw this somewhere on the internet that like, I think it was a podcast, like it's all about segregation these days, and people like, and I see this even happening with celebrities, with scandals. People point fingers and they say, oh, you did this, you did that. But it's like we're only judging stuff in people because we have not integrated it within ourselves. We project stuff onto other people. It's not like I changed or life changed when I climbed down that mountain. Excuse me, my voice. It's not like the world became different when I climbed down the mountain. The earth remained the same. What changed was my awareness of things in life. And you know, I think there is also a blessing in it, because I did so many things to rewire my brain after that. I took supplements, I did meditations, I would constantly listen to healing music. I was like trying to do everything and anything in my power to get my brain to work straight again and to ground. And I think that's really what it is. I think I was just ungrounded. But that's another side topic, you know. So taught myself how to language, okay, 5 years ago, guys. And we project stuff onto people because we think, oh my God, you're this way, but it's because you don't accept those qualities in yourself. So it's not about sometimes trying to fix people or trying to get people to do something. It's looking at them and saying, okay, I see this. And if it clicks with you, if you get triggered, if someone offends you, it means it's true. Because you get offended, it clicks with you. Like if you get triggered by something, it's just because it like hooks. Oh, my chair is squeaking. I put this chair myself, by the way. So, you know, girls and stuff. I put the table myself, you know, girls and whatever. You're basically just getting hooked because there is some truth. Actually, I think the chair agrees. There is some truth in what they're saying. So when you get offended, don't come at the other person, right? Say, okay, I see this. Do I believe this is true? Will I choose to believe in this, right? Because I feel like it's literally almost impossible to offend me. I'm not saying this to brag or to sound any kind of way or to make you try to offend me, but it's kind of impossible to offend me, because even if someone says something to me and it sounds kind of offensive, I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna say, okay, is this true? Do I agree with this? And if I do agree with this, if I get angry and I agree with it, then they have a point. Or sometimes maybe it's because they have their shirt wrinkled. They're looking into the mirror and they need to fix their own shirt. But because they are not aware of the fact that that's how reality works, they project it onto me. Now, yes, sometimes things overlap, okay? It doesn't mean all the time, it's never true. Sometimes things overlap. But that is another tangent. And by the way, I realized with this painting, it was too fluffy, okay? My painting was too fluffy because it was sparkly and light, and the vision I had for this was black, gold, and magenta. Why my black paint has blue hues, I don't know. I'm not using any blue. If you guys see, I'm using 5 colors Okay, black, light purple, pink, white, magenta, gold. Why is this blue? It baffles me. But the reason I'm saying this is because sometimes, we want to be structured and we want to be perfect and we want to be neat and right and flowy. And I realized that as structured as this was and as neat as it was, it's kind of boring. When you're just nice all the time, when you're just sweet all the time, which by the way, been there, done that, it's kind of boring. You're being like bland food. Like literally being nice and sweet all the time is like being bland food with no salt and no spice and no flavor. You're just bland rice that everyone gets to flavor you the way that they like because you're people pleasing and you're changing yourself according to everyone else. You're just being rice with no seasoning, and everyone else puts their seasoning into you as their chooses and pleases, right? So I realized like that's just so boring because I was afraid of being mean because again, because of this awareness that, everyone else is like me, I was afraid of hurting people. But anyways, it's another tangent that my energy does not feel like going on to right now. But what I'm saying is like sometimes trying to be perfect, trying to get everything right, trying to always be flowy and smooth and perfect and without mistakes or faults without faults, it's just boring. So if you have qualities about yourself that you don't accept, that you feel like people will judge you for it, it's just because you're judging yourself for it, okay? You're looking into the mirror and you're thinking everyone else in the mirror are gonna tell you that your shirt color is off and you have to tuck it in and you have to like do your hair a certain way because it's unacceptable. But that's because that's what you believe. And the funny thing is like when you start accepting yourself, people around you also change. They start to accept you. Like people will not judge you if you're not judging yourself. People will love you more if you love yourself. And that's the funny thing. Thing is like that happens when you own all of your imperfections. Because when I added this black and gold, I was like, I love it. I love it. It gives dark, I do not give an F vibes, okay? And I was gonna continue painting without recording, but I really wanted to kind of record and commemorate this because I could go off on another tangent, but I'm not sure it matters. What does matter is that, if you go back to that time that I climbed down that mountain, and if you don't think that it's accurate to the title of the video of, oh, I got enlightened. Enlightenment can mean many things. There is even a saying like, oh, I got enlightened. It just means you became aware of something, right? And I'm not saying I am enlightened, okay? I'm not. That's not the point of this video. I'm still a human. In fact, I feel like I've grounded back into humanity and kind of forgot completely about that for a while. And I tried making, again, self-development content, but I just think whatever I'm trying to tell you what to do, whatever I want to help you with, whatever, it's because that's what I'm learning. And I felt like kind of just bored of doing that because, I think I've said this before, but there's so much advice on the internet. There's so much stuff that people can tell you, but the only true judge of you and what's correct for you is yourself. And it doesn't matter what that looks like. It doesn't matter if you want to be smooth and flowy and sparkly and look like a fairy, which by the way, I'm feeling like dark fairy vibes lately. Like kind of want to embody like dark fairy because today I couldn't decide if I want to look like a boy or if I want to look hot. So I'm looking like a boy with a nice top because I couldn't pick. But it doesn't matter because however you choose to be, however you choose to express yourself, as long as you are happy with it, not only will you be happy with it, but other people will be happier because they won't necessarily project stuff onto you and you won't care. Like I think sometimes wanting to people please and wanting to make others happy is the opposite of how you make others happen. Like when you make yourself happy, when you're just yourself, paradoxically, you're gonna make others happy too, because everyone else who's gonna disapprove of it, it's just kind of gonna polarize out of your life. Like you're not gonna attract people who can't handle your truth, and everyone else who's meant to be in your life will be attracted into your life. And so you won't have to people please anyone except yourself. And when you people please yourself, I like that saying a lot, people please yourself, others will also be much happier with you. And I've also seen this happen, and I feel like it's kind of an energy I've been learning to embody more, because, you know, it's easy to have all these concepts of, oh, we are all one. And I see this and I really truly wonder how many people making videos of that the world is a mirror, we are all one, we're all connected, we're all one consciousness. I wonder how many of those people actually see and feel the world to be that way and actually live in accordance to those teachings. Because it's one thing to say, oh yeah, the world is you pushed out, but it's another to live it like that. And when I tell you it's hard to live it like that, to have that full awareness, it really is. Like, it broke my brain. Like, I could not function having this awareness that when I say you, I'm saying I every single time. It was too much for me. And I feel like I have a very open mind. Like, I'm very open-minded. My brain works in funny ways. Like, it makes connections in places that there's nothing to connect. Like, I'll figure out a way to connect, because in my head everything has a solution, everything is figure outable, everything is connected. Like, there is a way. Like, I'll connect it. And I struggled with that. So it's hard to walk around the world having this awareness, and I'm honestly not sure we're meant to. I don't think we're meant to be enlightened. I don't think I mean, again, that can mean different things, right? It can mean you become aware of the fact that we're all one. It can mean you become aware of the fact that we're all bliss and love. It can mean you reach the level of consciousness where you're just no longer human. But I think we're not here to lose our humanness. We're here to blend our humanness with everything else. And I even said this thing, like, I'm sorry, this is kind of spiritual, okay? Am I always going to talk about spiritual concepts? Probably not, but that's what I wanted to talk about today. So this video is like this. And even if you look at scale of consciousness, right, every single emotion, if you want to rise up the scale, it's about integrating it. So, and it's about feeling it too. Like, I don't think that repressing or rejecting your anger or shame or fear is the way to raise your vibration or get better or grow or be better. I think the way to do it is embracing it and owning it and even expressing it. Because I think for the longest time, not only was I afraid of the dark colors, meaning like negativity and other things, I was also afraid of expressing negative emotions because, well, for one, I don't like to hurt people, but for two, I just didn't think it was acceptable, you know? But the funny thing is, you define what's acceptable for you. There's no such thing as acceptable. And if you look at all the artists and all the musical songs, like, we don't think all this vulgar music is bad. Like, how many times you jam, and I do this too, like jam to a song with like vulgar lyrics, and then you listen to the lyrics, you're like, what am I listening to? And do you think those people that made those things ever had concerns about how they are, how they're expressing? No, because it doesn't matter. You're here to people please yourself, okay? And that's it. And so I went on a tangent because I don't think there is that much to talk about the fact that the world is a mirror of you. And I see this everywhere. They say when you change yourself, the world changes. And I see this everywhere, and I don't know about you, and I'm actually curious, but like for me, sometimes I lose awareness of it and I fall asleep before remembering it again. And I think that's okay. I don't think we're meant to be aware of everything all the time, because we wouldn't be having a human experience. Like, we're here to be human, to feel human, to experience human, to dress up our avatar human, to explore the body and the self and the emotions, because it's so boring. Like, if you ever go into the void, which by the way, I've been doing meditations where I go into the void, like, it's so boring, okay? It's just black. And so when you come out of the void, every single thing is abundance. This table is abundance, because in the void, you don't have nothing. You don't exist. So coming out of the void and understanding that when you leave this earth, which by the way happens to all of us, it's blank. So while we are here, we're here to explore the human, do crazy things. I mean, don't do crazy things, okay? I've done some crazy things. And now I'm like an 80-year-old grandma that all I want to do is stay home, paint, not leave the house. I was supposed to go to the store today, but I don't want to leave the house. And I did not leave the house yesterday. And you know what? I don't want to leave the house, and I'm okay with that because that's just the bubble that I'm in. Because I feel like I've done crazy things and now I kind of need to just chill for a little while. So anyways, we're here to experience life and grow and learn and make it your own. Because if you're people pleasing, if you're not aware of the fact that the world is a mirror and you think everyone else has a say or their opinion matters, it's like you're not living your own life. You're living their life. And I kind of integrated this energy recently. They call it a black hat energy. I don't know what it is, but it's just like you're living your own life. You're inside your own human. And if you have an experience that you don't like, you're the only one experiencing it. If you go around judging people and you're in that negativity, again, you're the only one experiencing it, right? It doesn't exist outside of you. So it's whatever experience you want to have. If you like being this way, if you like judging, if you like criticizing, if you like segregating, there's no shade in that. It's just the kind of human you want to be. And that's fine because every single thing is valid. And sometimes I think even dark things, even stuff that people did to me that was bad or negative or mean or hurtful or manipulative, or the stuff that I really burned from and might still not be healed from, and I don't know if I ever will, it was actually good. It was meant to happen. So I don't know to what level we can judge, to what level we can choose, but all I'm saying is whatever you are, there is no judgment. If you want to be someone who judges and segregates and points fingers at the mirror because the shirt needs to be folded and whatever, my chair agrees again, then okay, that's the kind of experience you want to have. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, only thing I'm saying is whatever experience you are gonna have, enjoy it, be present with it. Just know that it's all temporary, and eventually, just like if you watch my previous video, I spent a good amount of time tracing this, probably like half an hour, creating this smoothness just to erase all of it and paint it over with black. Did I know I was going to do this? No, but it just kind of enlightens me even more that the joy is in the journey, because you can build something and spend time building and trying and creating, and then it's gone, erased, crashes down, and you realize it was never there to begin with. All you're left with is just memories, experiences, lessons you learn along the way. And I believe that's what happens to all of us when we leave this earth. Oh my God, I've talked for so long. How is this half an hour? I mean, 27 minutes. Because, yeah, when you leave this earth, that's all you're left with is memories, lessons, experiences. Like, you're not gonna take people's opinions with you. You're not gonna take material possessions with you. And yes, I know sometimes we get stuck in survival because generational traumas and stuff in real life because 3D Earth. But when you leave, you're not going to take none of those things with you. You're not going to take the accolades. You're not going to take the trophies. You're not going to take the money. You're not going to take the car or anything. You're going to be left with the stuff that you've done, that you wish you've done, the people that you impacted, that you wish you hadn't impacted, and the things that you learned, and the joy of creating. I think for me lately, it's just the joy of creating, because I could get stuck on how this painting is gonna look like, but the truth is, I don't have a freaking clue. The only thing I do know is this blue is just gotta go, because why is this blue? I don't know. This is supposed to be black and gold and magenta. But hey, everything has a life of its own. I think the painting is conscious, and it is how it wants to be, and I'm just gonna respect it and love it and continue painting it. Anyways, I hope you got something out of this video. I hope that it was helpful for you in some way, and hopefully it helped you to be a little bit more enlightened about just Earth and life and perspective of some things that happen, because I wouldn't wish it on anyone. To have to go through the time that I went through, I'm gonna start crying. To have to go through the time that I went through of not knowing how to speak, not understanding language, not knowing how to interact with people, and yes, I was blissed out through a lot of it, but I would not wish this on a living soul because it broke me. And I'm a very strong person. Like I'm an Aries, okay? And I have 3 planets in Aries. Point is, I have a lot of fire, and I'm gonna, like, you know, internally, I mean, outside I can look fluffy like a butterfly, but like, it broke me. So I wouldn't wish that on a living soul. But if you can watch this video and you can have a vicarious experience of what it's like, then this video has served its purpose. I'm gonna start crying. Don't know why I want to cry. I think it's just a very difficult time. It's a difficult time, and I hope that this video was helpful for you and that you never have to go through that, to understand that everyone really is you. And it's okay. It's okay to forget it. It's okay to not always know it. It's okay to remember and then forget and to fall asleep. There's no judgment in any of it. Just experience and learning and just being the creation that you're created to be. So again, hope this video was helpful for you. Hope that I helped you enlighten yourself in some way. Not I helped you, but like this experience that I've shared with you helped you. That said, sending you a lot of love, and I'll see you in the next one.